Hi there, I'm Kay Creasman. I'm Vice President in Virginia State Council for Old Republic National Title Insurance Company, and I'm here to talk to you about title insurance today. But first of all, you need to know that I never expected to be a real estate attorney. I went to law school for 3 reasons. 1, most important, was to be a tax attorney. 2 was to work with small businesses, and 3 was so I never could be made to retire. In the early 70s, they had mandatory retirement ages that no longer exist, and plans change. It turns out I didn't want to work 60 hours a week when I had young children. I eventually ended up in title insurance, which was the perfect fit for me. I don't have to be a pure attorney. Kevin has talked to you about the fact that title insurance is risk elimination. We search titles in the record room, identify the problems, and eliminate the risk. But we don't always have to eliminate the risk. Sometimes we can evaluate the risk and make a decision to insure anyway, even though the problem's not cleared up. It is very creative. I love finding a new way to handle an old problem or even a new problem. Even after doing this for 45 years, I have something new show up just about every week, something I've never seen before, some way that title to real estate has been messed up. The other thing I love about it is I use lots of different areas of the law, so it pulls in lots of different concepts or coursework from when I was in law school that I never really expected to use. Kevin's already discussed with you policy coverage and how title insurance basically works. So what we're going to briefly talk about now is how we get to a title policy. It all starts with a title search. Historically, over time, young associates were assigned to do title searches by their firms, and they started their real estate practice doing that. In a large geographic part of the state, perhaps that's still done, but in the major metropolitan areas, most title work is farmed out to title agencies or title underwriters, and almost all searches these days are done electronically as long as the courthouse has records available electronically. So the issue becomes, who does the search, whether it's the attorney or whether it's a non-attorney settlement service provider? If you're doing search work, you need to make sure that your malpractice insurance covers it, because much of the liability for title insurance issues is built on the search. It's the foundation of what we do, and it's like the foundation of a house. If it's built on a poor foundation, it's going to fall apart. The same thing is true with title insurance. Another thing to remember about title insurance, at its lowest common denominator, what we are covering is human error. Everybody makes mistakes, and title insurance is one way the consumer can be protected against mistakes made by other people that might not be discovered. Attorneys also do deeds for sellers. In the residential context, the deed has to be prepared by a Virginia licensed attorney or by the seller. There are some instances where the rules of court allow an attorney for an entity to do deeds for that entity, even though they may not represent them as an attorney in other areas or arenas. Attorneys often add disclosure language to their deeds, not disclaimers, but disclosure language, in which they say they have not done the search. The most complete disclosure I've seen, the attorney listed the name of the title agency that provided the commitment by name and by commitment number, so that if there were ever a problem, people could go back directly to the source from which he had gotten the information to prepare the deed. Attorneys have been relying on title commitments for at least the last 50 years, even before I started working in real estate in Virginia. The title commitment is a unilateral contract. It is made up of 3 different component parts plus the jacket. But the three component parts are a Schedule A, in which you list the parties to be insured, whether it's an owner or a lender. It lists the dollar amount of coverage for each party involved, and it describes the real estate. It gives us the legal description for the property. The next thing that happens is that you have a Schedule B1. The Schedule B1 tells you that these are the requirements. These are things that have to be done in order for the policy to be issued. And if these things listed in Schedule B1 are done, the policy will be issued based on the information in Schedule A as to the identity of the parties, the identity of the property, and the dollar amounts. And the only things that will be listed as things not insured was what is specifically listed in a Schedule B2, which are the exceptions. Those will be the easements, the restrictive covenants, things that show up on a subdivision plat, things that show up on a survey that's been done specifically for this property that have been abstracted in the commitment itself. Title insurance, settlement agents rely on the commitment to tell them what they need to do in order to get a transaction to close as far as issuing the title insurance. They clear the items that are in Schedule B1, the requirements, proceed to closing, and go ahead and close. So what are some B1 requirements? You have to have a warranty deed. We require a warranty deed, not a quitclaim deed, a warranty, either special or general warranty. We require that any debts against the property that are secured by the property be paid and released of record. Any possible judgments have to be identified as to whether or not they deal with this particular piece of property. If there are any issues as to heirship, as to who owns the property, if someone has died either testate or intestate, that has to be resolved. And you have to be able to determine whether or not your legal description gives an accurate depiction of the property. Remember, a street address and a tax ID number are never sufficient for a legal description, okay? But in addition, you have to have access, legal access to the property. We hope that you enjoy working in the real estate arena. It is a varied field and has plenty of room for lots of attorneys. Welcome.